Space exploration might get all the headlines, but as we discover, there's as much mystery near us. And guess what? It lies just beneath us. Forget zero gravity. The final frontier isn't just up in the stars. It's down here beneath the waves. Enter OceanXplorer, the state-of-the-art research vessel of OceanX. Its mission to unlock the secrets of the deep, taking us to the depths of the unknown, exploring an alien-like world right here in our planet. And speaking of being near us, the OceanXplorer docked right here in the Philippines. And they only gave Billionaire News Channel an exclusive on-camera tour of their high-tech vessel. Let me tell you, this ship is something out of a sci-fi show. Think Star Trek of the seas, with subs instead of spaceships. Forgive me, but I have been wanting to do this monologue ever since my OceanXplorer visit. Ocean, the final frontier. To boldly go where no one has ever gone before. We're skipping the spacesuits, grabbing some flippers, and diving into this adventure.
The ship to be almost like a Starship Enterprise of the oceans
in
a way that evokes imagination and really reimagines what science can mean for the ocean community.
Meeting Mark Dalio, the visionary behind OceanX, was nothing short of inspiring. His passion for exploring the deep and unlocking the ocean secret is contagious. You can actually feel the waves of enthusiasm rolling off of him. Mark describes himself as a storyteller, and that's evident in OceanX's DNA. It started as a father and son project with Billionaire and the founder of Bridgewater Associates, Ray Dalio, and his son Mark, sharing a love for the ocean and inspiration for the legendary ocean explorer Jack Cousteau. It began with their first research vessel, the Alucia, which helped capture incredible moments like the first ever footage of a live giant squid. I want to go back to how it started, how you guys came about and founded OceanX. What was the reason behind it?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a long story, but I'll give you the short answer, which was I was working at National Geographic and my background is I've always loved the oceans and nature as well. And then after that production happened, I kind of pitched it to my dad is let's create a company using my contacts at National Geographic and my media background where we would create a company that would bring the science with storytelling and with media on equal ground and equal footing to really have all the scientific data and the knowledge of the oceans, but then bring that to the world through all of the big TV shows that we do, as well as all the digital programming.
Inspired by its success, the Dalios decided to go bigger, much bigger. The Ocean Explorer is reported to be valued at $200 million. The floating marvel is packed with subs, labs, high-tech gear, and with experts and scientists living on board. While the likes of billionaires Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson are busy mapping out the universe, I just had to ask Mark. A lot of billionaires are focusing on space. They're focusing on the next frontier. But why is it important to focus on the ocean and do an exploration of the ocean?
Well, I'd like to say that if you like to breathe, then that's a very big importance of the oceans, because every second breath that you take is from the oceans. And so if the oceans aren't healthy, it's going to have a huge impact on the planet. And I like to see us on as almost like the front lines of climate change. I think the oceans in general is on the front lines of climate change because all of the things in terms of the rising sea temperatures, and all the carbon emissions, even things like fires that are going on, that all gets absorbed by the oceans. And so with an unhealthy oceans, then you're going to have much, much bigger ripple effects that you won't be able to reverse at a certain point. And so there's so much to explore, so much to know, and then also so much that we want to inspire and get the public to care about. And so the more that we can bring the general audiences, as well as policymakers and students and educators into this shared vision of caring for our oceans, and how do you do it in a sustainable way of being able to both manage it well and then also expand it so that the next generation can continue to be able to work with it.
Yes. With 80% of the ocean still unexplored, the Dalios learned from the space exploration and took pages from Cousteau's playbook, using OceanX to mix adventure, science, and storytelling to uncover the ocean's mystery and to share its wonder.
But I would say there's actually a lot of lessons for space exploration that can be applied to oceans. If you look at NASA, the way that they were able to train scientists to be good science communicators is a huge page that can be taken out of their book, because everyone loves space. You see all these space films, you see the way that they communicate it and the way that they get the public's imagination on the next frontier. But we have a next frontier in the oceans. Only a small percentage of the oceans has been explored, and there's still so much more to uncover and know about. And I think some of that marketing and some of that storytelling that has been so enriched from a space exploration side could be applied also to the oceans. And I think one of our big passions or inspirations was Cousteau. I remember growing up and seeing my, kind of getting together with my dad and family watching Cousteau films and being able to see that, and it was such an inspiration for us growing up, or Blue Planet or Planet Earth. And so how do you bring that storytelling for science communications? Because I think that it's a new age of ocean exploration, and if we can get the public and can get other funders and other partners to also drive for that, then it'll have a larger ripple effect.
Mark told me that the Philippines has a very special place in his heart because he and his wife actually baby mooned here in El Nido, my hometown. But I'm sure you want to know what the Ocean Explorer was doing in our shores. Let's talk about you being in Asia and in the Philippines. What brought you to Southeast Asia and the Philippines?
The better question for me is why we wouldn't be here, because it is amazing how biodiverse. It's the most biodiverse waters in the world, and it was so fascinating, all the things that could be done and discovered. Yet it's also one of the most impacted from climate change. And so we actually started our work in South Pacific way back when we first started the organization, going to Papua New Guinea, going to the Solomon Islands, and that was actually the first mission, which was the giant squid, which is off the coast of Japan. And so I feel like we did a full 360 where we went from there to many other locations in the world. But now with this new vessel and a lot of the new programs that we have, like education, where we can do a lot of capacity building and a lot of outreach to the next ocean storytellers, the workforce of tomorrow in the ocean space. So it's so wonderful to be here, and there's so much to discover and reveal. And I think that because it's being impacted so much by climate change, that being able to work with the local communities, work with the local government agencies, and get that out in a big way to the regional, kind of the region, but also to the globe, and bring that to a much bigger global audience as well, just showing how beautiful and how amazing these waters are.
Hearing Mark's passion for exploring the oceans made me even more curious to step aboard and start my tour of the OceanXplorer.
Your newest source of news and information.
That's it?
Follows you everywhere, every day.
Wow.
Oh man.
On cable and free TV. Online.
He joins us from the Batasan Commercial.
On mobile.
Simulan na natin ang agenda. No Friday.
This is BNC, and we are everywhere.
Ito po si Father Nono.
Ako po si Father Fiel Pareha.
Ako si Risa Singson Kaupeng.
Kape at pandasal na po tayo. Ito po si Cardinal Chito Tagle.
Let me get my geek on. Just like in the Star Trek universe, the bridge is the nerve center. That is why this was our first stop in our tour. Here we met Captain Roger Solomon.
Hello.
Welcome on board the OceanXplorer.
Hello, how are you? Welcome to the Philippines.
When I first saw Captain Roger, he seemed like a very serious man. But once we got to talking about his job, his face lit up. He warmed up and he was game to show me everything.
How does it feel to have such a cool job, you know, running a state-of-the-art ship? I mean, you must have been so excited to do this.
I'm proud every morning I wake up, so that's, yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
waking up every morning, where is your favorite spot to have coffee here? I'm guessing this is have your coffee.
We have lovely coffee on board, you know. Now we have moved the station from the forward navigation station to the station. It's called DP station. It's a dynamic positioning software we have. So this is the station when you sit in this chair, because you have the view to the aft deck.
Wow, this is cool. It's like where all the toys are played.
Absolutely. So this is the command center.
May I ask to sit in one of the chairs and feel like I am
course.
operating?
Yeah.
Wow,
Press anything, yes.
super sci-fi. Wow.
So now you're moving in position to start using all the assets.
Wow, this is so cool.
And now you will have all the communication for the assets on board, with the ROV, submersible, and now you have full control of the ship.
I do have full
Yeah,
control?
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, the captain said that I have full control of the ship. Captain, if I turn this, are we gonna go around?
Then you will go around, that's for sure.
If I turn this, oh no.
The captain has a top deck, so he's seen the coolest places. So I had to ask him what was the best location for him.
This is something I want to ask you is, you've traveled around the world into the most remote places. Which to you is the best location that you've woken up to and have had your coffee in?
I must say, we have now been over half a year, maybe 7 months in Southeast Asia. And I must say, we started in Indonesia, Malaysia, and now we are in the Philippines. Yeah, very nice area.
Good answer. He loves it. He loves Asia.
He was also so quick to add that he's very proud of the Filipino crew.
We are so exciting to be in the Philippines. The whole crew has been waiting for this, you know. And we have around 14, 15 of the crew members from the Philippines, so this is huge for us.
Next up, we met one of the pilots of the submersibles, Ralph Addison.
Hi, Ralph.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Let me tell you about the submersibles of the OceanXplorer. These are the Ferraris of the seas. These underwater marvels can dive into incredible depths, taking both scientists and filmmakers to uncharted territories. Think of them as a glass bubble, but instead of just spotting fish, here you can discover alien-like creatures and jaw-dropping seascapes that have never been seen before.
What we've got here is two of our submersibles on the back deck. This one here goes to 1,000 meters. It takes 2 passengers and the pilot sits to the rear. Yes. Now this sub is mostly for media because the other sub over there, we're collecting all the samples for the scientists as part of the mission. And we're trying to capture that to take it back and show the universities and the media teams exactly what's happening down below.
So the people that go in the subs, it looks very thick actually.
Yes.
So they're like a scientist, a director, or who are the ones that go in?
Yep, so normally we'll have the lead cameraman there, and then you would have the executive producer this side, and they'll give us a storyboard of all the shots they want to get captured. So before we launch, we've actually got an idea of what they're looking for during the dive.
Yes, and you've done this extensively before because you were also part of Blue Planet.
Yes.
These state-of-the-art submersibles, I tell you this, have a lot of stories to tell, all captured in cinematic-grade quality.
What has been the coolest thing that you've done and you've experienced going into the submersible, or just the experience of it?
In the last 6 months, we went to Banda Aceh in Indonesia, and we were near the area where the tsunami hit in 2004. And we taken some geologists down from the University of Miami, and we did a survey on the seabed, and we came up from 800 meters to just 110 meters, and that was towards the end of the dive. We sat there, heavy on bottom, while waiting for the ship to get into position to give us clearance to surface, and just 10 minutes before we surfaced, 3 thresher sharks came between the 2 subs, and we just sat there, like just taking it all in.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really good.
That's amazing.
Really good.
While submersibles can dive up to 1,000 meters, the next station can take us to areas where no man has ever gone before. It's called ROV. Here we met Ewan Bassett.
Yeah. So how deep does Chimera go?
It will go to 6,000 meters. We haven't been that deep yet. The deepest we've been is about, I think it's 4,800 meters is our deepest dive yet. But I've worked with these vehicles quite a lot. They will go to 6,000 meters day in, day out. It's no problem for them. So.
What is the most fun part of it? Like this is a very expensive toy. It's like
yes, it is.
You're operating and flying. So what is the most fun you've experienced operating?
I think it's, you know, a lot of the sampling that we take can be quite challenging. You know, we're operating in strong currents, we're trying to take samples from the edges of cliffs and stuff like that. And that just, the challenging stuff makes it more interesting. And also, you know, we're very fortunate that we work with some of the best scientists in their field on board this boat, and they're standing next to us and imparting their knowledge onto us at the same time. So that makes it, you know, it makes it really interesting.
Now all the samples collected by both the submersibles and ROV all go to the research lab. The onboard laboratory is where the scientists analyze and examine samples and make discoveries in real time. Here we met Valerie Warner, the Science and Technology Officer on board.
So Dry Lab number 1 is probably one of the most exciting places on the vessel. It's where we conduct all of our advanced research here on the OceanXplorer. One of the tools that we have to do that is environmental DNA. eDNA, as we call it, is all of the cells and all of the things that creatures leave behind as they move through an environment. So me here in the lab, I'm gonna leave skin cells and hair cells. Fish in the ocean, whales, etc. are gonna leave skin and other biological samples in the ocean. So we can go through an area and take a water sample, take a sediment sample, and filter it. Similar to how you would with coffee, for example. These allow us to quantify and determine the biodiversity in a region. So we can take those water samples and know what was in that region, you know, for the last 48 to 72 hours and get an exact picture of what was there. I think a really good example of that would be we were in the Arabian Gulf and the Arabian Sea earlier this year and later last year, and we were looking for the Arabian Sea humpback whale. And it's an endangered species. It's one of the only non-migratory humpback whales in the world. I think it's the only non-migratory humpback whale. And because there's not much data on it and it's endangered, we wanted to go out and see how many were available. And unfortunately, we weren't able to cite any, but we were able to sequence their genome, which was really incredible and prove that they're actually still there and in reasonable numbers.
In the next station, they get to come up closer with the species. Now, this one is a playground for explorers. This is the dive center. He is also one of the underwater cameramen on board. Personally, this is my favorite part of the ship. One of the things I also found very interesting, they can actually report live from the deep sea to students in the classroom.
Some of our imaging equipment. This one I find particularly interesting from an educational point of view. So this is a regular camera inside an underwater housing, but we also have an external cable that runs 60 meters, if we want the length, all the way to the surface. So we can see the image here of a dive site in Southeast Asia, and imagine someone's on the boat above us, they can see exactly what you and I are looking at on the dive. Then, even cooler than that, is we can broadcast that as a live stream from the tender to a classroom or to a conference.
That's amazing.
And then it gets better. So it doesn't. We
Live
don't only,
telecast from underwater.
well, we not only can show people the image, but you and I could speak to each other.
Wow.
So,
okay.
we have an underwater comms mask or communications mask. So it's a push button to talk, listen here, and you and I can have one of these masks on ourselves.
Yes.
And we could be talking to each other, and then the person on the tender above us could be talking to us, and they could ask a question. So a young student in a classroom that's really excited about what they're viewing could ask a question. That gets relayed to us, and then we could relay the answer back to them.
Wow. I wish I was a student in that class.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Behind every successful dive is a well-coordinated effort happening in mission control. This is the brain of the operation where every dive and exploration is planned, monitored, and executed. And the mission control head, Andrew Craig.
This area here, which is the ROV control station, so you were talking to a colleague of mine, Ewan, who was taking you through the vehicle, and this is the remote part of it. So the vehicle is sitting outside the door, but it's 6.5 kilometers away, yes. And we do all of the flight control from here. And that vehicle gets us down to 98% of the world's oceans. Yes. So we can go to 6,000 meters with it. So that covers, so it gives us that capacity. So like you say, look at nearly everywhere in the oceans. We have sort of the next part, which is when the two manned submersibles are in the water, we have to make sure that they're looked after. So when Ralph and his team are in the water, they have a few guys who are on deck, and we're talking to them all the time, and they're feeding back to us what they're doing, and we're making sure everybody is safe, and the scientists are also, everything they're doing is being fed up to us so we can record it. And then the other part of the room is our mapping, and this really is our this is where everything starts. Yes. So when we decide we're going to go on a mission, we need to know what the bottom of the ocean looks like there.
To simplify, Mission Control is the high-tech hub that ensures seamless teamwork with crew, scientists, explorers, and filmmakers.
Good morning, everyone! We will sing every morning.
No, I'm Pablo.
Rosario. Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
Rise and shine, beautiful people. I'm Ann Assis Carrillo.
And I'm Monique Suzan. Your mornings are more fun with us.
So excited to bring it all here for you.
Make this day an unforgettable one by choosing joy and spreading kindness wherever you go.
Only here on
It's a Beautiful Day.
This Chinese New Year, may your home be filled with joy, your heart with warmth, and your year with success. Kyung Hei Wachai.
In the end, Mark joined us in mission control, and of course, I had to ask. So I've asked everyone in the crew what was the coolest thing that they've experienced in the ship. What is it for you?
For me, one of my favorites, and you might see it in some of the videos, but one of my favorite kind of areas that we explored was these brine pools in the Gulf of Mexico, which are these underwater lakes that it almost looks like a witch's cauldron because the reason they're called brine pools, they're made out of brine that actually gets pushed out of the sea floor, and it creates the water layer that's heavier than the outside oceans, and so it sinks to the bottom and it creates these underwater lakes that have this kind of smoky, it looks like smoke coming up, so it literally looks like a witch's cauldron. And then there's, with the brine, and there's a whole bunch of these mussels that start to form that feed off of the organisms that get created from the brine. And then from there you get hagfish, and then you get these little squat lobsters, and you get eels, and then from there you get squid, and so it creates a whole ecosystem.
Wow.
It's the closest you can get to maybe looking at an alien planet or alien life, because it looks that unworldly.
My takeaway is that the OceanXplorer isn't just a ship. It's a vessel of hope, curiosity, and endless possibilities. Beyond its state-of-the-art research equipment, it carries the countless stories of the passion on board, each one fueled by a shared love for the ocean. OceanX's mission goes beyond research. It's about sharing discoveries that spark curiosity and passion for the next generation. And this 2025, the OceanXplorer plans to return.
We're still figuring out the dates, but you guys are more than welcome to come back.
Come to El Nido.
Yes,
Also.
absolutely. Yeah.
That was so amazing. It was beyond what I expected. Wow. After all, the ocean's future depends on who we inspire today to care for it tomorrow.